What's up guys, welcome to Wasted Space, and today's just a really quick video to talk a bit more about the Space Engineers Design for Planets competition I'm running, fill in a few more of the details because I wasn't quite as clear as I could have been with that first video, and to answer some of the questions that came up in the comments as well. Now if you haven't seen that original video, I have linked it down in the video description, but it is alongside all of the competition details and a link to the rules as well, so it may not be necessary to go and check that out, you'll probably pick it all up from this one. So kicking off, first I'd like to reiterate what exactly the competition's all about. So it's being called a design for planets because that's kind of the deal. The only thing I really want to use as a constraint is the idea that whatever you do is focused on planets in some way. It's something to do with planets. But aside from that, the whole point was for it to be a very broad competition, encourage people to come up with all sorts of different things that could be fun in relation to planets, like the original competition was. So whether this means you're building some landing ship, or you're building a ground base, or you've got some clever idea of how you can utilize solar power, or you want to build a tunnel boring machine, whatever it might be, all of that sort of stuff is completely acceptable. But on top of that, there's this concept category, and the whole point of that category was to try and enable people that perhaps don't even have space engineers to take part as well. So when it comes to the best concept, that doesn't have to be a workshop link or a functional build in Space Engineers. That could simply be a drawing and explanation about what exactly your idea is, or a rendering, or whatever your skills may be. It doesn't have to come from Space Engineers. Use your imagination, go wild with it. If there's something you think is a cool idea, find some way of conveying it, even if you don't have the game already. All I'd ask there is make sure you include some sort of description, some sort of explanation about what it's all about, because an image on its own won't necessarily tell me a huge amount. Of course, we've also got the aesthetic and the functionality categories, which are much more to do with builds in Space Engineers, but what I wasn't very clear about is the modded side of things. What exactly is my definition of a mod? And to keep things really simple and really black and white, I'm going with if it needs something in that mod list when you load the world up, it's a mod. Simple as that, which obviously does mean that there is some things that you can't do. You think, well, that's pretty vanilla, but unfortunately that has to be where the line is drawn. Conversely, scripting does not require anything in that mod list. It is supported by the vanilla game, and it will save and load with vanilla blueprints and with vanilla worlds without any need for external interference, and so those are considered non-modded, and feel free to use scripts however much you want, and even better, if you want to write your own scripts, make sure you highlight that to me so that I can actually take a proper look at what the script is doing rather than just go, oh, he's using Whiplash's airlock script or RDAV's fleet command or whatever it might be. Another question that came up a few times was there a size limit? Is there a block limit? And honestly, I'm going to go with no on this one. And that's mostly on the basis that if you guys can run it, I can probably run it as well. I've got a pretty good machine, so it's going to come down to if you can't get it to run, then you're probably not going to build it. So hence, no real need for a size limit on these things. Again, it's just a case of going wild with it, come up with something cool and imaginative. There were also a number of questions regarding what I said about make sure it's a new design, make sure it's something people haven't seen before. Now obviously I can't be too strict with that, but at the same time the point was just to try and make the competition quite exciting and try and encourage people to actually get thinking about it in particular, rather than just grabbing something out of their workshop that they built ages ago and going, that'll do. So by all means, if you've been working on a design, you're going to update it a little bit, whatever it might be, send that stuff in, just try and keep it that sort of thing. Not just a quick resubmission of something you've had kicking around on the workshop for ages, something you built ages ago and you're just going to revamp slightly. It's just more interesting that way. So finally I'll just say, please also remember to check the details in that document if you're going to take part. Make sure you submit it in the right way because it does make it really difficult otherwise. So if it's a vanilla build, please make sure it's sent as a blueprint with the right naming, and if it's a modded build, please make sure it's sent as a world with the right naming. And otherwise, good luck folks, I hope you enjoy taking part. I'm going to look forward to judging all these things, and thanks a lot for watching. I will catch you guys next time.